Shalom Israel, Shalom Bashar Shabbat. To all the brothers out there, Shalom Yahweh Shemar, Shemar Ashai to all the sisters out there. This is ISUPK Louisiana Sabbath class. All the brothers out there, Shalom Yahweh Shemar, Shemar Ashai to all the sisters out there. This is ISUPK Louisiana Sabbath class. Yeah. Slack. Yeah, this is Louisiana Sabbath class. And by law, you're supposed to attend. This is a high holy day. You're supposed to attend Sabbath. We was talking last week about how that Jacob, had do 7 years for his wife Rachel, but he was tricked. He got Leah first. But then he worked another 7 years to get Rachel. Despite it all, he went through all that. That's what our forefather did. He worked to get what he wanted. And he ended up having 12 kids by 4 women. Like I said last week, the 12 tribes were made through multiple baby daddies. It was made through one man, and that's how it's supposed to be. While especially 12 tribe women, instead of being with one man, staying with that one man, they go out, be with this man, be with that man, be with that man, be with that man. When you're only supposed to be with one man, and contrary to popular belief, sex is marriage. Sex really is a marriage. That's what it is. That's why used to hear people say, "Where your husband at?" Because they know y'all done laid down with each other, and that is actually your husband. I'm gonna say shalom to the chat. Shalom to the chat. Yeah, that is your husband. The man you lay with, or the woman you lay with, that is your wife. That is your husband. We're gonna go further on off into Jacob name get changed to Esau. He was already, his father had already blessed him, but now he looking for a bigger blessing. We go to Genesis 31:1. This is it reads, and Genesis 31:1. Genesis, that's where we're gonna start it. But time to get this started. I'm gonna say Elijah. Lasharala means to Israel. Prayers. Let's say Elijah, Wampanya, Hakwadam, turn and face the east. Slack. Square in Hebrew, and it reads, Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak Waka, Baba'ah, Ratazah, Razaka, Hayah, Basha, Ba'aratazah, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathan Lanawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawan, Asalat Lanawa, Kabawah Lanawa, Kasalat Nawa, Kabawah Yanawa, Wala'ah, Tabayanawa, Badasayawan, Abal, Habashanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wahala, Walapara, La Wala, Aman, in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, and we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever so be. Bless Israel in Hebrew. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Barak Lanawa, Wayasharala, Wayabaya, Saparia, Barak, Ba'ashem Yahushai, the Wada Aman. In the English read, Lord, in the name of Yahushai, bless us and Israel and the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect. In the name of Yahushai, thank you so be. Akash, the power. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Babashah, the Thalanawa, Akash, Larapa, Ka Makala, Waka Madawa, Akash, Lataha, Hatamazarium, Akash, Lahaquadium, Hamathium, Akash, Rakatwa, Hatamala, Lagarshan, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, the Wada Aman, in English. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahushai, thank you so be. Blessings in Hebrew. Rakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahushai, Wa Yamakiala, Wa Alayah, Mata Zabaya, Alawap Yaham, Ha Alawap Ha Sarayah, Ha Quatazaya, Ha Kayaya, Wa Akwahim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, the Wada Aman. In English to read, bless you, Yahweh, and Yahushai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yahweh, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, thank you so be. This Psalms 121 in the Hebrew, and it reads, Asha, Ayana, El Hariyam, Mahayam, Yaba'a, Azariah, Ma'am, Yahweh, Asha, Shashamayim, Wa'arataza, Al Yatham, Lamawat, Ragalka, Al Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana'a, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yasham, Shawama, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Yah, Yamyanka, Yawaman, Hashamaj, La'a, Yaka'a, Yakaka, Yarash, Bala Yala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Makarat, Yashamar, Atha, Lamapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazahaka, Wawaka, Ma'athan, Wa'awalan. In the English, I will lift up my eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help coming from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He would not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee would not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth, even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. It said, Alahayam, Al-Damaka, La'aka, Al-Tasharash, Wa-Al-Tashakwat, Al-Kayahana, Wa-Yabaka, Yaka, Yahama Yawan, Ra'ash, El-Mayaka, Ya'arayamwa, Sabada, Wayatha, Ya'atazawa, Atazawa, Al-Tazapani Wanyaka, Amawa, Yasharala. Lakawa, Waka Yadaya, Magoya, Wala'a, Yasazaka, Sham Yasharala, Awada, Kaya, Na Awatazawa, Laba, Yakadawa, Ayaka, Baya, Yakarathwa, Ahalaya, Adawan, Washamaya, Alayam, Maya Waba, Wahagaria, Gabal, Wahamawan, Wahamala, Palasha, I'm a waba, wahagaria, gabal. It's like Sharabia, Tazawa, Gama Shawa, Nalawa, Aman, Ayawa, Zarawa, Labanya Lawa, Salah, Asha, Laman Halahan, Kamawayan, Kasa Yaksara, Kayo Yabyan, Banaka, Yashwan, Nashamawa, Bayan Daara, Kayabyan, Banaka, Kwayash, one, Nashabawa, Bayan Daara, Hayawa, Dama, La Dama, Ayatamawa, Nada, Yamawa, Kara, Wakazaba, Wakazar, Wakazanaya Yabuka, Slaki, Kanasa Yakma, Wakazan Aba, Wakazaba, Wakazazar, Manai, Kanasa Yakama, Asha, Amawa, Naya Rasha, Ladawa, Ata, Nawa, Alahayim, Alahaya, Yashatamwa, Kagaga, Kakwat, Lapanya Waka, Ka'a, Tabarara Yara, Wakala Haba, Talawat, Talahat, Harayan, Khan, Taradamapa, Taradama, Basaraka, Wabasa, Wapaka, Daba Alam, Mala'a, Panyahan, Kwalawan, Washabakwashawa, Shaka, Yahawa, Yabasawa, Panyahan, Kwalawan, Wayabakwaswa, Shaka, Yahawa, Wabasawa, Wayabahawa, Adiyai, Wayakaparawa, Wayababawa, Wayadaawa, Kaya Ha'ata, Shaka, Yahawa, Labaka, Ayawan, Al-Kaharataza. In the English read, keep not thy silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against our hidden ones. They have said, come, let them cut them off for being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom and the Israelites, of Moab and the Hagarenes, Baal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur is also joined with them. They are hoping the children of Lot. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jaban, at the brook of Kisan, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth, made their nose like a rail, and like Zaid, yea, all the princes of Zabah and Zamunah, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. Oh my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and the fire and the flame sets the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded in trouble forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. Curses. Let's see. You see, it's like it. Yeah, like I was saying before, you know, we just we talk about our forefather Jacob. You know, I've been I know I've been to church before. You know, back when I was young. And, you know, like they always hit on when they start for prayer. You know, the father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And you know, and as I came up to this truth and started learning, you know, what you're supposed to do. That, you know, the people, the so-called Christians, are, you know, they don't follow Christ. I found out in this truth, hey, you gonna follow Christ. You know, it's not it is there's no way around it. Either you're in this truth or you're not. Let's get on to the lesson. Genesis 31:1. And he heard the words of Laban, son, saying, Jacob hath taken away all that was our father's, and of that which was our father hath he gotten all his glory. Now he had Jacob up there. Jacob was tending his flocks, and he told Jacob, hey, whatever be what's that, rain, strike, and speckle, that's yours. And Jacob, every time he bred him, that's what he got. So he was getting more cattle than Laban, and the sons noticed that, But it says for Psalms 49 and what, I think 16, it says, you don't worry about what the person get his riches from, Let me see if we get that right quick. Let me look that up. Let's see. He said, Psalms 49:16 said, be not thou afraid when one is made rich, when the glory of his house is increased. And this what happened with Jacob. He was blessed. But the Most High said he was going to bless him. He told him he was going to bless him. If you follow his word, he was going to bless him. And that's what he did. Blessed him. He blessed him. Even though Laban didn't do him right, he tricked him the first time. Then, he had him working, he only supposed to work 7, but he ended up working 14, to get the one he wanted. And then he stayed some additional years. What's it? In verse 2, and Jacob beheld the countenance of Laban, and behold, it was not toward him as before. So now, he dealing with his his father-in-law, his so-called, his uncle. He ain't the same with him. You can say his confidence, that could be his facial expression or his attitude. It ain't the same. You see how he dealing with him. It ain't the same. You say the Lord. In verse 3, and he said, the Lord said to Jacob, return unto the land of thy fathers and to thy kindred, and I will be with thee. Verse 4, and Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field unto his flock. Shalom. Verse 5, and he said unto them, I see your father's countenance, that it was not toward me as before, but the God of my father hath been with me. And you know with all my power I have served your father, and your father hath, verse 7, and the father had deceived me and changed my wages 10 times. But God suffered him not to hurt me. Verse 8, and he said thus, the speckle shall be thy wages, that all the cattle bear speckle. And if you say it thus, the ring straight shall be thy hire, then bear all the cattle ring straight. Thus God had taken away the cattle of your father and given them to me. And it came to pass, at the time the cattle conceived, I lifted up my eyes and I saw in a dream, and behold, the rounds which leaped upon the cattle were ring straight, speckled, and bristled. And the angel of God spake unto me in a dream, saying, Jacob, I say, here I am. And he said, lift up thine eyes and see all the rounds which leap upon the cattle are ring straight, speckled, and grizzled. For I have seen all the Laban that doeth unto thee. And see, the Most High know what's going on. He see what Laban doing. You can't hide that from the Most High. He sees all. You see, Laban was doing them wrong. So either they say, hey, you gonna give them speckled. So back then, they didn't want nothing speckled. They wanted some, solid color. They just don't know, like even now, those speckled ring straight, they are very valuable cattle today. You get something speckled and ring straight. That's valuable cattle. You sell cattle all spotted, you got to pay big dollars for that than you will for a solid color cattle. And that's been like that for thousands of years. They've been like that for thousands of years. And say, verse 13, it said, I am the God of Bethel,
where thou knowest the pillar, and where thou vowest a vow unto me. Now arise, get thee out of this land, and return unto the land of thy kindred.
So the Most High doing pretty much what I told Abraham. Get up from around and go back to your kindred. We can take his wives, and go. Get away from them. You don't did your time. Now it's time for you to go.
Verse 14. And Rachel and Leah answered and said unto him, Is there there's yet any portion of our heritage for us in our father's house?
So they worried about what they gonna get. They just know their husband got everything, so it's automatically yours. You included in that too. But they just ain't thinking.
Are we not counting him of him strangers? For he has sold us and have quite devoured also our money.
So they worried about their inheritance. Just know they got a heritage with their husband. They got a heritage with their husband. Well, he got all the cattle, so they with him, so they gonna have a part of that.
Let me see. Verse 16. For all the riches which God hath taken from our father, that is ours, our children, now then, whatever so God hath said unto them, be do.
They tell them whatever the Most High told you to do, do. So,
verse 17. Then Jacob rose up and set his sons and his wives upon camels, and he carried away all his cattle and all his goods which he had gotten, the cattle of his getting which had gotten in Padan for to go to Isaac his father in the land of Canaan. 13. And Laban went to shear sheep, and Rachel had stolen the images that were her father's.
Let's see, right? So now Rachel done did something wrong. Went and stole, took them gods, the idols, from her father. And verse 20, and Jacob stole away unawares to Laban the Syrian, in that he told him not that he fled. See, Jacob took off, ain't said nothing to Laban. So Jacob done left, and he told Laban, he just did what the Most High said, to get your children, get your property, and go on back to your homeland.
Verse. I got you. Genesis 31:21. So he fled with all that he had, and he rose up and passed over the river and set his face toward the Mount Gilead. Verse 22. And it was told Laban on the third day that Jacob was fled. And he took his brethren with him and pursued after him 7 days' journey. And they overtook him in Mount Gilead. Verse 24. And God came to Laban, the Syrian, in a dream by night, and said unto him, Take heed that thou speak not to Jacob, either good or bad.
You see, when you follow the Most High and you do what the Most High said, he'll talk to your enemies. He will talk to your enemies, let them. He will appear to them and they don't do no harm to them. Why you think we never having a problem? We out on the streets, but you hear in the other Israelite group, get out on the street, they have problems. We get out on the streets, we scream to the four winds. Hey, don't nothing happen to us.
The Lord told the Lord told that boy, don't say nothing to him, nor the good nor bad. Scripture say the Lord worketh both the will and the do. So the Lord made Laban understand. Don't say nothing to him. He did what he said he was going to do for you. You have no place for anything to say anything to him. Don't say nothing to him at all.
Yeah. Well, I'm just bringing out so heavy, like I said, just like ever since I've been in this truth, before I came in the truth, I had all kind of problems. I got in this truth, cleaned myself up, start following these laws, statutes, commandments. What I didn't have, the Lord blessed me with.
That's right.
I didn't have a wife. Blessed with a wife. Didn't have a house. Have a house. One of my sons. I have my son.
That's right.
You know, I had everything I wanted slowly, but it didn't happen when I wanted it. But it happened. It didn't happen as quick, but it happened anyway. I had to wait some years. You know, but the Lord blessed me anyhow.
That's right.
You know, so I know kind of what Jacob went through. He waited years. You know, he had to wait. He had a deal to work 7 years to get one wife, the wife he wanted. But he ended up getting the wife he didn't want it, and had to work an additional 7 years to get the wife he wanted.
If I could, precept for what he's bringing out. Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased in thy last end. Whosoever, what verse 4? Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. For gold is tried in fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him.
What the other one was saying, you know, trust in the Most High. I mean, that's what we all had to do coming up in this truth, you know. I mean, we come from Christianity, we come from Catholic, we never served the Most High at all. We just come off the streets, you know, killers, you know, criminals, you know, murderers, you know, and we heard this truth right here, changed everything about us.
Right.
You know, whatever we were before, we stopped, you know, started following these laws, statutes, and commandments, and, you know, and our life became better. And we didn't know, and I don't know how to ever lead the truth.
That's right.
You know, I can't lead the truth because, you know, I gained so much being in the truth. You know, all I had to do was, stop the little things. Stop sinning. And people act like that's so hard. You know, you say you love God and you'll follow his commandments.
Right.
You know, and if everybody, you know, every Christian is quick to say how much they love God. You know, all I need is Yahweh Shai, you know. But yet they can't even do the simple dietary laws. They don't want to do the dietary laws at all.
What do you need?
Verse 26.
Book of Genesis, chapter 31 and verse 26. And Laban said to Jacob, what hast thou done that thou hast stolen away unawares to me, and carried away my daughters as captives taken with the sword? Wherefore didst thou flee away secretly and steal away from me? Didst not tell me what I might have sent thee away with myrrh and with songs, with tabret and with harp?
Like he's out there, you know, checking Jacob, you know, because he done left and you ain't told. I'm just, you know, but if I was reading up when I like, that's a grown man.
First of all, he disobeying the Lord. He just heard from him. Not to say nothing to him, no good nor evil. And he still went ahead and did what he wanted and asked him, what you stealing from me? Like Jacob ain't earned what he took. Talking about he took his daughters away like he had taken them away with the sword. But how can a man take or steal away something that is his possession? How can a man steal away something that already belongs to him, that he's worked for?
You know, I guess, you know, if we read on, you know, he discovered the idols was missing.
Come on, I'll go ahead. Verse 28. And has not suffered me to kiss my sons and my daughters. Thou hast now done foolishly in so doing. It is in the power of my hand to do you hurt. But the God of your father spake unto me yesternight, saying, take thou heed that thou speak not to Jacob either good or bad. So you heard it. You knew who it was. Still disobeyed it. Verse 30. And now, though thou wouldest need be gone, because thou sore longest after thy father's house, yet wherefore hast thou stolen my gods? And Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid, for I said, peradventure, thou wouldest take by force thy daughters from me. So Jacob thought that Laban was going to take his daughters from him, take his wives from him, that he had done work for us. So that's why he left in the night like that.
And like you were saying, you know, the Most High told him to get up and get out anyway. You know, so he know he was gonna follow. You know, Most High, because he made a promise when he first left from his homeland. You know, he made that little rocks, you know, for pillars. And he was laid down and said, you know, Lord will bless him. You know, he'll follow. You know, and he's doing exactly what the Most High told her to do.
That's right.
You know, go back to your mother and father. You know?
Right. Verse 32. With whomsoever thou findest thy gods, let him not live. Before our brethren discern thou what is thine with me, and take it to thee. For Jacob knew not that Rachel had stolen them. So Rachel was the one that stole them, and Jacob tell Laban, like, whoever you find that done stole them from you, you can kill them. And he didn't know Rachel done took them. Rachel the culprit, she the one that got these wicked gods, these idols, and then took them from her father's house. Verse 33. And Laban went into Jacob's tent, and into Leah's tent, and into two maidservants' tent, but he found them not. Then went he out of Leah's tent and entered into Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the images and put them in the camel's furniture, and sat upon them, and Laban searched all the tent and found them not. And see, she was clever. She done took them and hid them on the camel, and then sat on the camel, knowing her dad ain't gonna come search her. Wicked. Verse 35. And she said to her father, let it not displease my Lord that I cannot rise up before thee, for the custom of women is upon me. And he searched, but found not the images.
She was slick, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
You know, we're gonna say the menstruation time.
Right.
A cycle them came upon. That was that custom of women she was talking about, menstruation cycle. You know, but I guess she feeling like she coming away with nothing. You just don't know. Jacob is blessed,
right,
with everything. He got all the father's cattle, and the cattle. You rich when you have a lot of cattle. What I say about women, they naive. She being naive and not looking at what her husband has is also hers.
Right.
But she's a naive woman. Go ahead.
Verse 36. And Jacob was wroth and called with Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, what is my trespass? What is my sin that thou hast hotly pursued after me? Whereas thou hast searched all my stuff. What hast thou found of all thy household stuff? Set it here before my brethren and thy brethren, that they may judge betwixt us both. This 20 years have I been with thee. Thy ewes and thy she-goats have not cast their young, and the rams of thy flock have I not eaten.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I say, you done been with them 20 years. 14 for Leah and Rachel. Then another 6, tending this cattle. So like this, that was way longer than he expected. It was way longer than he expected. And then when he leave, he getting checked by this man, even though the Most High came to him in a dream and said, "Hey, don't say nothing to him, good or bad." But he did it anyway, and he up here checking him. It was a Jacob telling him, "Man, hey, I ain't taking nothing of yours."
It's a lot of the crazy part about it. He telling him, "I don't work for you 20 years, and bro, I ain't never eat none of your flock. I ain't never eat none of the goats or none of the cattle that you had. I ain't never eat none of it. I never had any of it. So you gonna come and confront me about taking something from you, and I ain't even eat your stuff when I was there."
That's right. They kind of remind you of somebody you run into off in the streets. You've been in let's say somebody staying with you're paying help pay bills and all that, doing this and doing that, but yet some come up, they want to come check you, but yet you buying your own food, paying your own bills, but yet they want to come check you,
right?
About something, but they just show you how wicked this man. Even though that's his uncle, he was a wicked man. He was a wicked man. First he had tricked her with Leah when he's supposed to have been got Rachel, but he could have told him first from the jump, say, "Look here, I can't give you Rachel. I have to give you Leah first." And then he could have been like, okay, well, they'll take together. You take her, work another 7 years, you take her. But no, he didn't do that. He just snuck Leah off enough. No, he was ready for Rachel. No, he wasn't gonna need paying to the face or nothing like that. He just know he was getting Rachel. And he fooled the man. Fooled our father. But it all worked out for him. In the long run anyway. He ended up getting what he wanted, and then he ended up getting a whole bunch of cattle to go home with. Right.
Verse 39. That which was torn of beasts, I brought not unto thee. I bear the loss of it. Of my hand did thou require it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was. In the day the drought consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep departed from mine eyes. Thus have I been 20 years in thy house. I served thee 14 years for thy 2 daughters, and 6 years for thy cattle, and thou hast changed my wages 10 times. So you done dealt treacherous with me for all 20 years that I've been serving you. Right? I've been right with you for 20 years. I served 14 years for your daughters. I served 6 years for the cattle, and during that whole time, bro, you done changed my wages 10 times. You done took money from me. I slept in the cold at night. I was in the hot sun during the daytime, and I ain't hardly sleep. 20 years. That's what he's saying to him. 20 years you done dealt treacherously with me, and now you want to accuse me. Verse 42, except the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had been with me, surely thou hast sent me away now empty. God have seen my affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked thee yesternight. He said, you would have sent me away from you broke. If it was up to you, you would have left me high and dry with your daughters, and I'd have been broke with all my children. I'd have been slapped broke leaving you. But because the Lord of God of Abraham and my father Isaac was with me, I ain't have to leave like that.
Yeah, and that's right. Because like I was saying earlier, he was a wicked man. He ain't cared nothing about his daughters having anything. He ain't cared nothing about his grandchildren. He was just going to, as long as he had, that was like having free labor. With him there was free labor. Somebody taking care of his flocks, even though he got sons to do that. But no, Jacob did all that. And
this is what he say in verse 43, Laban. And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, these daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and these cattle are my cattle. and all that thou seest is mine. And what can I do this day unto thee, unto these my daughters, and unto their children, which thou have borne? Now therefore come thou, let us make a covenant, I and thou, and let it be for a witness between me and thee. And Jacob took a stone and set it up for a pillar. And Jacob said unto his brethren, gather stones. And they took stones and made a heap. And they did eat there upon the heap. And Laban called it Jagar Hadatha. But Jacob called it Galeed. And Laban said, this heap is a witness between me and thee this day. Therefore was the name of it called Galeed. And Mizpah, for he said, the Lord watch between me and thee when we are absent one from another. If thou shalt afflict my daughters, or if thou shalt take other wives beside my daughters, no man is with us. See, God is witness betwixt me and thee. And Laban said to Jacob, behold this heap, and behold this pillar, which I have cast betwixt me and thee. This heap be witness, and this pillar be witness, that I will not pass over this heap to thee, that thou shalt not pass over this heap and this pillar unto me for harm. So now he want Jacob word that Jacob ain't gonna harm him. He don't want Jacob to come and do him like he been doing him. You've been doing him dirty for 20 years, but now you're afraid because you know the Lord with him, because the Lord done visited you. You're afraid now. And now you want to make a covenant with him.
That's right.
that you can't come past this heap of rocks, and I won't come past this heap of rocks either. You just don't come this way to harm. Coward.
Yeah. That's how the wicked be.
Right.
You know, when they saying that you even though they did their worst to you, but yeah, you still come out smelling like a rose because the Most High with you. That's when they want be free. You know,
Right.
in other words, they want to make peace.
Right.
You know, that's what they do. Want to make peace. Want to be free. You know, I won't do you nothing. You won't do me nothing. You know, but all them years he just sat there slaving for him.
Right.
You know, he didn't think about all that. You know, he didn't think about all that. You know, like I said, he was that was uncle, but he was a wicked man. You know, from the beginning. You know, like I say, he could have told him that he couldn't give Rachel to him. You know,
Right.
He wouldn't do that. He knows if I could marry her off, so somehow already having a hard time. You know, she ain't nobody knocking down her door to marry her, so I could go and get her off on my nephew. You know, that was just wicked. You know.
See again. Verse 53, the God of Abraham and the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge betwixt us. And Jacob sware by the fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered sacrifice upon the mount and called his brethren to eat bread. They did eat bread and tarried all night in the mount. And early in the morning, Laban rose up and kissed his sons and his daughters and blessed them. And Laban departed and returned unto his place. Keep going. Keep going. Chapter 32, verse 1. And Jacob went on his way. The angels of God met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, this is God's host. And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. Mahanaim. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, to the land of Seir and the country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, thus shall ye speak unto my lord Esau, thy servant Jacob saith thus, I have sojourned with Laban and stayed there until now.
Now you Esau done carved off. This little niche. She got this, like you said, when he ate that pottage, his name came Edom. And, right now, he living in the mountains. We always wonder where the caveman come from. That's caveman right there. Here in Mount Seir. That's where your caveman come from. That's where you see, they try to put up, the Neanderthal man, then you had all kind of different anthropods, of men before they start walking upright. They got that from the oppressor. That's what he did. He lived in a mountain. He was a caveman. That's where it started from, Esau. Right?
Verse 5, and I have oxen and asses, flocks and manservants and women servants, and I have sent to tell my Lord that I may find grace in thy sight. And the messenger returned to Jacob, saying, we came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet thee, and 400 men with him. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him, and the flocks and herds and the camels into 2 bands, and said, if Esau come to the one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. And Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, the God of my father and God of my father Isaac, the Lord which saith unto me, return unto thy country, to thy kindred, and I will deal with thee. I will deal well with thee. And I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth which thou hast showed unto thy servant. For with my staff I passed over Jordan, and now I am become 2 bands. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me, and the mother with the children.
It's been 20 years, and it seems like Esau still holding the grudge. He done got up a little small army to go meet Jacob. Like I said, like didn't the Most High say he hated Esau?
God,
He hated Esau, and this is what you go to. Let's see, Obadiah 1 and 10. We talk about for the wickedness. Just paraphrase, wickedness done to our brother Jacob.
Amos too.
Yeah,
it's in the book of Amos.
Yeah,
for 3 transgressions, even 4, would I have done unto thy brother Jacob.
Jacob was afraid of him. He's terrified of him because like Esau. He was a ruffian. He's a man. Out in the field killing stuff. Breaking probably ever since a little boy. I've been killing things.
He was a hunter.
Yeah, he was a hunter. And Jacob, he just he just like any other brother, like a chill at house.
Yeah, he was a tent dweller.
Yeah. He dwelled in tents. We went out there like that. He was laid back. He was all laid back. While Esau was out there, he was a hunter, killing everything. And he's still mad because he didn't get the blessing.
Right.
That's all this is. He's still mad. He's still holding the grudge.
Verse Salaki. Verse 12. And thou saidest, I will surely do thee good, and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. And he lodged there the same night, and took of that which came to his hand a present for Esau, his brother, 200 she-goats, and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams, 30 milk camels with their colts, 40 kine, and 10 bulls, 20 she-asses, and 10 fawns. And he delivered them into the hand of his servant, every drove by themselves, and said unto his servant, pass over before me, and put a space betwixt drove and drove. And he commanded the foremost, saying, when Esau my brother meeteth thee, and ask thee, saying, whose art thou, and whither goest thou, and whose are these before thee? Then thou shalt say, they be thy servant Jacob's. It is a present sent unto my lord Esau. And behold, also he is behind us. And so commanded he the second and the third, and all that followed the droves, saying, on this manner shall he speak unto Esau when he find him. And say ye moreover, behold, thy servant Jacob is behind us. For he said, I will appease him with the present that goeth before me, and afterward I will see his face. Peradventure he will accept of me.
See, Jacob finna give Esau a gift, like look here. Look at my brother. I know you're mad at me, but hey, here is a gift gonna pass through your land, to get back home. He got all them cattle. He finna give to him. All them cattle he's finna give to him. So I like this thing about the oppressor. He don't never forget that. Just like remember everybody remember 9/11. 9/11. How they quickly responded to that. They quickly responded to that when they came over there and bombed the World Trade Center and all that. They responded to that so quick. But you mentioned something about slavery. Oh, forget about it. That's in the past. See, they say when they come to them, they go quick to remember something. But when it was something that bad they done did, they want you to forget that. They want you to forget that. Let me see what it was. Okay. In verse 22. And he rose up that night and took his 2 wives and his 2 women servants and his 11 sons and passed over the ford Jabbok. 23. And he took them and sent them over the brook and sent them over that he had. Verse 24. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh. And the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. He said, I will not let thee go except thou bless me. So, and he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For a prince has thou power with God and with men, and have prevailed. And Jacob asked him and said, tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name? And he blessed him thus. See, now you hear this in church. Jacob wrestled with an angel, they'll say wrestle with God in church. That's the way I heard it. He wrestled with God himself, but actually he wrestled with an angel. He wasn't gonna stop till he got blessed. And he wrestled with him so long and so hard, the angel like, hey, knock this hip out of place. And and I know something about hip pain. It ain't fun having your hip out of place. That's pain. What they call that, sciatic nerve. You're getting hit right up there in the bone in the joint. Yeah, that hurts. Let me see.
Verse 30, and Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is reserved. And as he passed over Peniel, the sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh.
See, that thigh bothered him. That was something that was going to bother him for the rest of his life. You know, because that's his thigh hurting.
Yeah, the rest. Therefore, the children of Israel eat not of the sinew of the shank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh, unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew of the strength.
Okay. So that's something that's going the Israelite remember to this day that Jacob wrestled with the angel and his thigh, and he got blessed that day for wrestling with the angel, and his thigh got took out of place. We're going to Genesis 33:1. So that's why his name got changed to Israel, because he wrestled with the angel. You know, he said, "You're gonna have to bless me. I ain't gonna stop wrestling you till you bless me." You know, and that's how he got his blessing. You know, and that's what we need to do. We need to wrestle with our demons. That's what we need to wrestle with. You know, demons are work all the time, 24/7. They never stop. So you got to wrestle with your demons. You got that, young man?
Genesis chapter 33, verse 1. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men, and he divided the children unto Leah, and unto Rachel, and unto the two handmaids.
Go ahead.
Verse 2. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph hindermost.
He put the children up there front, you know, for you can for Esau can see them. So you a man ain't too quick to hurt the children. That's what he thinking. Go ahead.
And Esau ran to meet him and embraced him, and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted up his eyes and saw the woman and the children, and said, Who are those with thee? And he said, The children with God hath graciously given thy servant.
Go ahead.
Then the handmaids came near, they and their children, and they bowed themselves.
And you see how they showing Esau respect. You know, they showing Esau respect. You know, and Jacob showing Esau respect. Because he's still afraid of Esau. Even though he grown full man, he's still scared of his brother because he know he's not a fighter like his brother. Go ahead.
Verse 8, and he said, What meanest thou by all of this drove which I met? And he said, These are to find grace in the sight of my Lord.
Go ahead.
And Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep that thou hast unto thyself.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob said, Nay, I pray thee, if now I have found grace in thy sight, then receive my present as at my hand. For therefore I have seen my face, as though I have seen the face of God, and thou wast pleased with me.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 11. Take, I pray thee, my blessing that is brought to thee, because God have dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough. And he urged him, and he took it.
Now, Esau didn't even want nothing from his brother. He said, I got enough. But Jacob urged him, probably let him know how he went face to face, met an angel face to face, and was blessed. So he was going to bless Esau, hoping his brother would forgive him, because Esau feel like he got cheated, out of his birthright. But that was all that for, just to appease him. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And he said, Let us take our journey, and let us go, and I will go before thee. Verse 13. And he said unto him, My Lord, knoweth that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds with the young are with me. And if men should over drive them one day, all flock will die. Verse 14. Let my Lord, I pray thee, pass over before his servant, and I will lead on to softly, according as the cattle that goeth before me, and the children be able to endure, until I come to my Lord unto Sir.
Sure.
Seer.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. And Esau said, Let me now leave with thee some of the folk that are with me. And he said, What needeth it? Let me find grace in the sight of the Lord. Verse 16. So Esau returned that day on his way unto Seir. And Jacob journeyed to how do you pronounce that? Sukkah, and built him an house, and made booths for his cattle. Therefore, the name of the place is called Sukkah. Verse 18. And Jacob came to Shalem, and a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. When he came from Pandaram and pitched his tent before the city, and he bought a parcel of the field where he had spread his tent, and the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. Verse 20. And he erected there an altar and called it
Elohi Israel.
Elohim.
Okay. Now Jacob then gave Esau his gift. Esau let him pass through the land. Let me see. And now he done bought him a parcel of land. See, Jacob was pretty wealthy man when he left Laban. He done bought his land and built. Let me see. He bought a parcel of a field, and he put his tent out. And he built booths for his cattle. So Jacob did pretty good being with Laban those 20 years. But they just show some people who didn't know how the name Israel came about. It came about when Jacob wrestled with an angel, and that's how his name changed from Jacob to Israel. That's where we get our name, Israel. It's people just living off in the some of our land over there in the Middle East. Those Jewish, they're not the true Israelites. They are the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, and they're not of the 12 tribes. They come from the Roman Empire that took over that land. They went set up in the Caucasus Mountain. And, when World War II broke out, basically when World War II broke out, the United Nations placed them in that land. They placed them in that land, and they've been stealing our identity ever since. But like Psalms 83 said, let's cut them off from being a nation. And that's what they've been doing. We're in school of ISUPK. We are screaming to the four winds, giving telling our people who they are. Telling them who they are. What they're supposed to do. How to follow the law, statutes, commandments. And love thy brother as you love thyself. That concludes Sabbath class. We'll see you next week, and we're gonna say, mine just up here. Rasharala, peace to Israel. Sorry, time. Prayer. You was praying in Hebrew. And now, Shabbat Shemayim. Wadash. Yah. Shekah. Yahweh. Malachaka. Sala'ah. Yazaka. Ayah. Asha. Baratza. Kawa. Ayah. Shemayim. Thanganaw. Nakam. Cow. Nawan. What's a lot now? Come on, what now? There's a lot now. Come on, what now? Wala Abiyanawa, Banasayawa, Abal, Awashanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Amalapa, Wahala, Wadapara, Walayo, Aman. Curses.
Got it.
Curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, listen to us now, right now. Say evils and curses and punishment and destruction and death to the heathen that speak against us, the prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction and death to the heathen. And shake loose the pockets of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction and death to the Edomites and the nations and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Positive Kamatazi, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space programs, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airways, the cable access channels, and the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us and bring swift death to all the heathens that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the terrorists. Cause them to go to and fro through the earth and destroy. Cause the terrorists to come against America and destroy them in their strongholds. Let America shake at the hands of the terrorists. Let Yahushua, Michael, and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and kill all the heathens that come against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread throughout the media, throughout the whole world. Cause it to shake out thy coming. In the name of Yahushua, thank you always. So be it.
So be it.
We're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel. Amajim Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai Barakatah. Yazamatah, Sar, which means to turn. Sisters, Amajim, which means to, Salakia. Stand. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters, men of Israel. Amajim Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shema, Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Yazamatah, class dismissed.